Hey, so before this video begins, I just want to let you know that this is a part 2 to a two-part series I did because my first part was kind of released before the full game was released, so I will only really be covering like half of the full game in this video, so you aren't confused as to what you're watching. So yeah, regardless of that, I hope you enjoy the video and have a good day. Hey, I'm so glad you're back. I wanted to finish off where we left off on. I believe that was in... Oh, shit. Oh, hey. I wasn't expecting anybody today. How did you even get in here? You know what? I'm too tired. How did you get in here? Following the cutscene, we get to see more backstory as to how John and Garfield's dynamic relationship began in this game, seeing John enter a closed-off museum area as John then tells him that the keys to the display cases were right where he told him they'd be. Garfield tells him that the guard will be returning soon, as Garfield then just tells him, well, go ahead and grab it and get out of there. But John stops him and asks if, when he does do this, that Garfield will obviously share his power with him, to which Garfield agrees to, where John then takes the relic and, well, runs away with it. Also, just want to point out, because I forgot to point it out earlier, pay attention to the months, by the way. You get to see them briefly for a split second at the top left of the screen, so pay attention to those. Time passes as we find John pulling aside on a snowy back road, as Garfield questions why they're stopping, where John then tells him that he's been driving for about 2 days straight and needed some rest. Strange noises then emanate from around the car, which is then followed up by Garfield suggesting that he take over for a while, which obviously confuses John before Garfield then brings up that John wanted him to share his power and so he will. John then suddenly wakes up to find himself inside somebody's home, as we hear the sound of a baby crying from upstairs. The month is now April, meaning a lot of time has passed since Garfield took over John. 2 months, I would say. John asks what's going on before Garfield says, shouldn't you be asleep right now, before the screen cuts to black as we now get revealed to the aftermath of what pretty much happened in the house, which is, yeah, we just murdered people. This is followed up with Garfield then telling John, what did you just do? Pretty much now blaming John for what just happened, kind of trying to manipulate or try to push the blame onto now John instead of him. We now are shown something from previously, from way in the beginning of the game, where John wakes up in his car as Garfield introduces him to their new house. So it's obviously, we can see that the timeline here is a bit jumbled in a sense. It's very out of place. So things will happen at the beginning of the game, but stuff leading up to said things will be added later on in the game. So all the stuff is really kind of just jumbled around in a sense. Garfield's not here anymore. And the sigils.
Please protect the house. Mind, time, body, and space. Oh. You must be very confused. You must be very afraid and confused. I never wanted to hurt anyone, and I know that you didn't mean to hurt anyone either. The voice that made you do those things used to make me do things too. But now that it talks to you, it can't control me, and I've learned how to stop it. Oh, so originally it was controlling John, but when John kidnapped us, and, well, Garfield, when Garfield kidnapped us, that's when he switched to us and left John by himself. Interesting. So he switched hosts in a sense. At the end of the month, when the stars align, we can destroy it. Until then, you'll have to stay inside the house. Put on the headphones and play the music to keep the voice out of your head. Whatever the voice says or shows you, don't believe it. It only wants to hurt people. I'm sorry, John.
Through these notes, John explains to us the situation at hand and how it can all be solved as long as everything, well, goes according to plan and everything goes right.
The voice has gotten us into trouble. We'll have to stay here for a while. Sorry about that. I still have a cough. If the voice takes over you, I'll have to put you in timeout until it's safe. Oh.
Days passed as we now find our character drawing on the same note pages that we also have seen prior in the game. Once they finish drawing, Garfield makes an appearance again. We find ourselves back within the imaginary world that Garfield had pretty much created for us. If you recall back to the previous times, where now this time we're climbing up the top of a tower. And I do want to bring up that there were also some other changes added to the game. During like the maze sequence that you saw in part 1, the character, or well, not the character, the creator decided to add a giant tower. Now, the purpose of the tower, we're going to find out in this sequence because we're obviously climbing up it. Does that make sense? I feel like that makes sense. Once we reach the top of this tower, Garfield and Odie approach us on a magical flying cloud. Oh god, I can't speak. We now find ourselves right back into the cage, seeing that we were yet again taken over by Garfield. This time outside the cage, we now see John sitting next to us from outside as he gives us a notepad with questions on it. After our brief talk with John, with me mostly doing the talking and John sitting there silently since he doesn't have a tongue, more days then pass as our character now marks more dates on the calendar, where we now see that there is only one day left before John and our character are able to pretty much destroy the voice, or the voice's like relic that he's like, I would say, bound to once and for all. However, things really don't seem to be according to plan here.
Oh geez, are we not gonna wear our stuff? Come on, don't, no.
We can see that our character that we're playing, the child, is starting to resent John and his rules regarding the voice, even showing that they seem to really enjoy being in the imaginary world that Garfield has pretty much set up for them. Then, as soon as they continue drawing, a task then appears for them on the top left screen, which, if you know, kinda indicates that, yeah, Garfield's pretty much gotten into his head. We open the safe to find ourselves right back in the imaginary world that Garfield has created for us, where Garfield now continues off where we originally were left off on from before, as he and Odie fly off into the distance, leaving a trail of clouds for us to jump on as we follow them. And while doing this, we have more bomb-bat creatures that proceed to drop bombs onto us, with each bomb that hits us obviously restarting us back at the beginning, so having no choice left, John kills our character to stop Garfield from escaping into the world again, leaving him to be the only one fighting against the voice yet again. Thank you guys for watching. It really means a lot, especially after the first part got a lot of really a lot of support, more than I expected it to. For me at least, I never really expected it to get the amount of support, the amount of liking, and how many people genuinely enjoyed it. It was really surprising to me, and I can't thank you guys enough for the support. I do try. I'm fairly new to doing this content and hope to continue doing it. So if you have any, suggestions or things I could improve on, I would like to know, because I do want to improve. I do want to keep doing this type of stuff. So you guys' support means a lot, and I can't thank you enough. So thank you again, and have a good day. Bye-bye.